Hey guys, and welcome back to another episode of Off the Shelf. I'm your host, Ronan HD, and this week, what we found off the shelf was...
Yeah! I love being a turtle! Awesome! Excellent!
Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, the 1990 one. There was a lot of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles movies. But this one was, I believe, the first theatrical movie. It was based off mainly the show, but also some elements from the comics were used here. It was actually the puppets and the animatronics here, obviously the suits, were done by Jim Henson's Creature Shop. It was one of the last films that Jim Henson worked on. Which obviously being Jim Henson puppets, they looked great, right? A little awkward here and there, but I think that adds to the charm. You know, it adds to the charm of them being like actual practical animatronics, dudes in suits, and they were good. I liked them. I did like them. But also, this film was the 9th most successful movie of 1990. I believe it was the 9th most successful. It made $202 million in the box office. It was, at that time, the most profitable indie film ever made up until then. And it had quite a few achievements. While it did receive mixed reviews from critics, it was, very, as I said, very successful. I guarantee a lot of kids liked it. People that liked the show liked it. And while I am not a connoisseur of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, I would like to call myself a casual watcher. So if I see some Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, I'm like, that's cool. I like turtles that are, like, you know, bipedal turtles that, you know, are ninjas and beat people up. That's fun. I like that idea. I'll watch that, right? But I wouldn't go as far to say as a massive fan, but I do like it. And I think this film just did a really decent job at being just a dumb, fun action movie. Anyway, this film, I don't know, I just went off to a tangent there. But this movie, I think, was very enjoyable. Now, it was pretty stupid, pretty campy, very cheesy, right? But I think that maybe it was intentional, maybe it wasn't. Either way, I think it just had a lot of charm. You know, I think this movie was just very fun to watch, right? I think the action was good enough, and I think that there were certain moments that I think were supposed to be taken seriously, but were the funniest moments in the movie. There was one moment where the actor who played Raphael, like when they figured out like the evil ninjas that worked for Shredder when they kidnapped Splinter and destroyed their hideout, Raphael like let out a scream of, like, you know, it was like a scream of pain, right? He was like distraught, but people have turned it into a meme, and it just was funny because of how into it the voice actor was. He was really up there. He was really screaming. He was getting really loud. And then there was another scene where one of the turtles, I couldn't tell who it was, but he was up on a hill, and it's like April was like writing in her journal. It's like, with the disappearance of Splinter, they've been taking it really hard, and it was. Did he say Splinter when he was on the hill? He was like, Splinter! It was the most ridiculous shit ever. I think it was supposed to be taken seriously. I think. But I didn't take it seriously. It was hilarious. It was just like her saying they were taking it pretty hard, and then him just immediately yelling Splinter is really funny. Very good comedic timing. But literally the cliche of like yelling at the sky like in anger, like I will find you type of cliche, which again is not a problem. It was very entertaining, and I think honestly this movie is just, it kind of banks on that 90s or 80s mostly like corniness, like the cheesiness, The suits, while I did say they look great, obviously they're dudes in suits and it looks really uncomfortable. And it's just goofy, right? It's just a goofy movie. And I think the movie understands that it's goofy, though. It doesn't take itself too seriously. I mean, Shredder looks completely ridiculous. I mean, he's wearing, like, I don't even know what he's wearing. He's wearing this, like, weird, like, reddish, like, shirt, like, long sleeve shirt. And he's not even really wearing armor that much. I mean, yeah, he has literal shoulder blades on, right? Literal, like, he has shoulder pads, but they have blades on them. Literal shoulder blades. I like that. They should have made a pun in the movie. That's a missed opportunity. They probably have at some point. If they haven't, that's a missed opportunity. But he looks, because his fucking face guard, Shredder's face guard is like so thick, like it goes up to here, and it looks like cheap plastic, and it just looks really goofy. And like, from what I've seen in the Set AM cartoon, it doesn't look like that bulky. Like, it's like on his face. And he doesn't wear like a chest plate in the original cartoon, doesn't he? Like, if you're gonna wear shoulder pads and a helmet, why don't you have a chest plate? I mean, like, he's the boss man, and I get maybe he didn't want to wear a chest plate because it's like maneuverability, but he didn't fight till the like final battle of the end of the movie. Like, he kind of just sent his lackeys to fight for him. So I mean, if he had the chest plate, honestly, it would make him just look cooler, right? I think he looked like he was like the silliest looking character in this movie, and that's saying a lot because there was literally a talking rat with like a fucking there's just a giant talking rat, which actually was probably my favorite animatronic in the movie. He just looked really great. He didn't look goofy like the Turtles did. He actually looked pretty decent. Well, not saying they weren't decent, they were just silly. He wasn't. I really liked the way he looked. And the way they would blink, too. It was like... It looked good, but it was kind of uncanny. I don't know how to describe it. And I also think it was, like, really impressive how in these, like, fucking... like hot ass heavy rubber suits that these people were like fucking doing flips and shit, and they're doing all these stunts and jumping through windows and doing all these crazy ninja moves. I thought that was really impressive, and I just think that was a really entertaining and fun part of the movie. But I also feel like there was some maybe details that I missed since I'm not a huge fan of the show. Right, so maybe there was some things that I would have been more invested in if I liked the show, or maybe not, I don't know. But I think there were some characters in here that I'd never heard of, and I'm not sure if they're actually in the show or not, or if they're original to the movie. Like, there was this, like, kid, this hoodlum kid, there was this hoodlum kid who, like, he had, like, a whole side plot of, like, you know, he was originally, like, a bad guy. He was, like, a thief. He was stealing from people. He was working for Shredder. Like, he was a part of his, like, gang, I guess. Like what was it called? The Foot Clan. But then he goes through a redemption arc and he realizes, you know, that he's abandoning his real family, which is his dad, who, like, April works for. And I'm not sure if these characters are original or not. I've never heard of them. Maybe they are. But going on a little side tangent here. Talking about the hoodlum kids. Fucking Sam Rockwell is in this movie. And he has lines. And it's like, during the movie, I didn't realize it. And then when I looked it up, I'm like, fucking Sam Rockwell is in this movie? And I looked it up, I'm like, yeah, that's just a really, really young Sam Rockwell. It looks just like him. I don't know how I didn't notice. Maybe because he was just such a minor character. But there was, like, a lot of scenes where he was, maybe not a lot of scenes, but there was a couple scenes where he was, like, up front and center, like, right in front of the camera, and I just didn't realize it. Maybe because he was so young. I guess I'm just used to him being old. But either way, that was fun. And I didn't know this either. Obviously, the actors that voiced the Turtles were not the people in the suits. So, obviously, they had suit actors and voice actors. Fucking Corey Feldman was Donatello as the voice in this movie, and I'm like, that just was kind of weird. There was just, like, some actors in this movie that I did not expect to be in this. This movie, I think it's really understandable why this film was so successful and so popular back when it first came out. Because, I mean, it was super campy, super entertaining, action-packed. It was really fun. It had that, like, you know, radical vibe that, like, kids, I guess, liked back in the 80s and 90s. It just had that, you know, that, I don't know what this is. I don't know what this is. Just deal with it. But I really do think it was very of the time. You know, it's kind of a time capsule. It's very understandable for why it was so popular back then. You know, it was fun. It was an entertaining watch. And while it's not like groundbreaking or anything, I think it's a good time. And I think in general, if you're a fan of action movies, if you're a TMNT fan and you haven't seen this, I would recommend it. You know, I would recommend it for, you know, Ninja Turtles fans, action fans, I guess martial arts fans, I suppose. I mean, fucking Golden Harvest released this movie, which, if it's the same Golden Harvest that make Kung Fu movies, then that's kind of crazy. I've only really seen their Kung Fu movies. If it's a different Golden Harvest, then I've been betrayed. And that's unfortunate, but we must move on. However, back to my point, I would recommend it. And I think I'll rate this film a 7 out of 10. And yeah, I think I've something to say. Thank you so much. Peace. So guys, if you like this video, share your friends, subscribe, turn those notifications on, comment below if you liked it, and I've been Time HD off to eat some pizza. Because they really like pizza in this. Well, not just in this. They really like pizza in like every adaptation. I don't know if they like it in the comics though. Are they like just fucking cutting up people, but they also really like pizza at the same time? Is it like, are they goofy and murderers at the same time? Are they like vigilantes, but they're also pizza vigilantes? Is that like a thing in the comics, or was that a thing that the Sad AM cartoon introduced? I don't know, leave it down in the comments. Did the violent comic Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, did they like pizza? Let me know. Is that an original detail that they like pizza? I don't know. Uncle Mike, if you're watching this, let me know what you think of this video. Did I do it justice? Probably not. But just for reassurance, I want to know if I did it right. Leave down in the comments. Just you, though. I mean, my Uncle Mike. If there's another Mike that happens to be an uncle out there, you're not the one I'm talking to. I'm talking to my Uncle Mike. Okay? I appreciate you, but you're not my uncle. You're somebody else's. So comment on their video, if they have one.